I have a sweet tooth. Something tells me you also have a sweet tooth.
Mysore Pak. Padam romba correct irukkanum. We learned from grandmother making, my mother making. I've been watching that. I'm used to do that. Even now I can do that.
Because I'm sure people like you are the true custodians in some way.
Vanakkam, this is Rakesh Raghunathan. I'm very happy to be part of the Sweet Karam Coffee family as their culinary and cultural ambassador. In my years of documenting and researching recipes from across India, especially the south of India, I've got some amazing recipes and stories to share to the world. And I will be doing this with Sweet Karam Coffee.
One being 1,000 years of history and the caffeine that conquered the world.
Waking up to the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and sipping on that first cup of filter coffee is truly an emotion to all of us in South India. This has been passed down over several generations, and I have someone in conversation with me today as we affectionately call Paati. Hi Paati.
Hi.
How are you today?
I'm fine, always.
Yeah, and I love your smile and that positive, radiant glow that you bring every single day.
Thank you. God bless you.
You seem to be holding something that's very dear to you. What is that?
Yes, I'm watching the albums.
Just the thought that when you go from airports to wherever you are, everybody calls you Paati must be very, very endearing, isn't it?
Yes.
So I remember my grandmother telling me the process in which that she used to make her coffee. They'll buy the beans, they will roast it in the house. I still have the German coffee grinder that they used to grind the coffee beans and the powder. They'll have that attachment, they'll pour the coffee beans on top and they will manually grind it, and you can set in the madri grind venonu. You know, the coarseness, how whether you want something fine, you want something coarse.
I've grind that machine, it's called Lavlak machine.
Yeah.
We used to put the water in the stove and then we used to grind it very fresh. Before getting the water boiled,
Yeah.
we used to grind powder and put it. The smell will all over the house. Everybody who is sleeping also will come to coffee.
Absolutely right. It is the best alarm one can ask for.
Yes.
Just the smell of that filter coffee decoction being percolated is phenomenal.
Rakesh, can you ask one thing?
Yes.
As a food historian, can you explain about the history of coffee?
Of course. So many thousand years ago, around the 9th century, and to be precise, probably around 880, there was a goat herder by name Kaldi who discovered coffee and its energizing properties. And then from there, it traveled to parts of Yemen. It was part of several coffee houses. It came to Arabia and it spread literally like forest fire. So coffee has such a long standing history, and what we are savoring today is history in a cup. Tell me, how many cups of coffee do you have a day?
I'll have minimum 2 cups.
Okay.
Sometimes 1 more cup.
Because it's that first cup, and then to warm you up again for the other part of the day, you have another smaller cup.
To give energy, first I'll have coffee. Then after breakfast, little to the breakfast.
The moment you say Kumbakonam filter coffee or degree coffee, it's served in the brass davara and tumbler, and many people don't really know what the degree coffee is. Do you know, Paati?
Strong coffee with flavor.
Yeah, that's what many people say. But interestingly, the word degree many years ago was the way they would measure the quality of milk. So it is not about boiling the milk to a certain degree or making sure the water is boiled to a certain degree to make coffee, but it is essentially the measurement used to measure the quality of milk.
And then one thing I know,
Yes.
they won't reheat the milk again.
Correct.
They're using the fresh milk.
Correct.
First one time boiling.
Yes, and the suda and the first decoction and that first boil of milk makes everything wonderful,
coffee.
right? Yeah. We've been talking so much about coffee. Don't you think it's only right that we break it down for those who are watching how to make the perfect cup of filter coffee, right?
Yes.
So you have the coffee filter. What you will first need to check, if it is a new filter, then there's no problem. But if it's a filter that's been used, what happens sometimes when you add the coffee powder, you will have the coffee which is stuck in the place where it's perforated, right? So you wash it very keenly and then just hold it, maybe using tongs or something, on a flame to ensure there are no particles stuck in the perforation. Assemble them together, add about 2 spoons of coffee powder, and on top of that make sure you use a coffee press that is available. Press it and then pour about 100 to 120 ml of piping hot boiling water and just gently place the lid on the top and wait for the magic to happen.
You'll get a degree.
Just talking to you makes me feel like I want to have a cup. Do you think we should get a cup of coffee?
Yes, why not? Why
I think
not?
we should. Reminds me of home. What is your memory around sweets? You know, because for me, I have a sweet tooth. Something tells me you also have a sweet tooth.
Mysore Pak.
You're an expert at making Mysore Pak.
Yes, even in those days, Mysore Pak is a favorite sweet to everybody. But it's a difficult sweet to make. You should know the consistency. The padam romba correct irukkanum.
Absolutely.
While making that sugar syrup, you have to be very careful. If you just miss it, the paal pungra pola, and the consistency will go away. Either it will become too strong or too soft. It should be the appropriate padam. That should be there. And we learned everything. We didn't have any books at all those days. We learned from while my mother making, while my grandmother making. I've been watching that. I'm used to do that now. Even now I can do that.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Because I'm sure people like you are the true custodians in some way where you can, I'm sure, just give out the recipes without having to look online. I'm sure you probably know it at the back of your hand. But it's interesting that this sweet, Mysore Pak, originated in the royal kingdom of Mysore, which is why it has the name Mysore Pak. Because there was the chief cook in the royal palace, Kakasura Madappa, one fine day realized that there was no sweet for the king that particular day. I mean, just like we are talking, the whole concept of sweet karam and coffee, there was no sweet for the day. And then he put together gram flour, made the sugar syrup, consistency, single string, whatever. And thus was born the Mysore Pak. So Mysore, the place where it originated, and Pak is the Pag, Pakam, the consistency in which it is made. And like you rightly said, the consistency is key.
Very important.
If you're going to be looking at your phone and, making the sugar syrup, there's every chance that the Mysore Pak...
Just 1 second is enough. You lose the consistency.
Right. So, I mean, we spoke about coffee, we spoke about sweets, and I'm sure what completes the SKC experience is another karam, isn't it?
When you eat sweet, then you need some karam.
Exactly.
Kaimurukku is the most difficult one. You should be able to do that.
You're itching to do it now.
Yes. The other murukku and all will be machine making.
Yeah.
That anybody can do that. Kaimurukku is very difficult one. You need training also. You need practice.
Right.
I used to start doing when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
My mother used to make for Deepavali, everything, and then especially for Janmashtami, she will make Kaimurukku. It's a Janmashtami special, Kaimurukku is. And then the proportion and all, just you have to look at, no book at all. 8:1, she will say. If you put 8 karandis, put 1 karandi, uludamavu. And then you have to mix it with butter and all, you have to mix it. And then you have to do this like that. To making Kaimurukku is an art.
Yeah.
While making, she will give me little mav and ask me to practice it.
Right.
I got it that way trained, and then after my marriage I was able to do that.
Absolutely.
Every Janmashtami.
Yeah. No, and it's
Thinking
interesting.
my mother about how she trained me.
Yeah.
Even some old people, they won't be able to do that. It needs special training and special experts only can do that. Creative mind இருந்தாதான் சிலது பண்ணலாம். அது மாதிரி இதுக்கும் ஒரு creative இது வேணும்.
Very, very true. நீங்க சொன்னது ரொம்ப correct. No, and when you told me just your hand actions, I was reminded of what I did for my son. When we were making these bhakshanams at home, I would actually give him this particular dough for him to play around, because it's something that also helps in tactile movement, right? So in today's context, it's all about reimagining things for the next generation. The whole karam is a canvas that is there in front of you for it to be painted with different types of savories. And what makes this entire experience complete is it the sweet? Is it the karam? Or is it the coffee that brings together? Or is it the conversation with sweet, karam and coffee?
Everything is essential here.
Very, very true. Very true. What more than engaging in this delightful conversation with you over sweet, karam and coffee. Thank you very much. You've been watching Sweet Karam Coffee with me, Rakesh Raghunathan.